Welcome to the Child Care Genius Podcast, the world's leading authority on child care marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Our host, Brian Duprey, is the world's most sought-after child care coach, having helped tens of thousands of child care owners from around the globe take their business to the next level. Let's welcome to the Child Care Genius Podcast, our host, Brian Duprey.
Hello, welcome to the Child Care Genius Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Duprey, and for an exciting episode today, with me, I have a co-host today, and that's Faith Yocum. She's on our team. Hi, Faith.
Hey, Brian.
Good to see you. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about websites and a little technical mumbo-jumbo. And a lot of people think they know a little bit about websites. Maybe we'll get a little bit of education today why you need an important to have a website in your business, and why you probably shouldn't skimp on one. So I think that's what we're going to talk about today. So what do you consider, what's a website in a nutshell, Faith? How would you describe a website? What is it?
It is one of the most important marketing tools, especially with the demographics of parents today. Everything's online. It's really going to be the greatest source of information for families, enrolled families and prospective families, to essentially get a snapshot of the center and the philosophies, mission, how they operate, a sneak peek inside, and hopefully some organic material to see a little bit of a sneak peek at the day-to-day operations.
So when I first started my child care center almost 30 years ago, there were no websites. And we relied on like our outside signage or brochures or things like that. So things change over time and evolve, obviously. And but let's compare like your website to a sign. And when you go when you go to Las Vegas or you go to Times Square, you'll see signs everywhere. Like everybody's trying to draw your attention to that. Well, kind of a website's like that too. All your competitors, everybody out there is trying to dazzle people with their website, right? They got a lot of different things on there and trying to dazzle. We used to do that with signage, on the sign on the outside of your building. You could have a tiny little sign or you could have a big sign. And it makes a big difference when people are driving down the road. Well, with a website, it makes a big difference. Not only what you have on it, what you have behind it. So there is a lot more that meets the eye with a website. Anybody could just throw a website on the World Wide Web. It's one of those things where you can do it yourself and get up there pretty inexpensively, get something up. But getting people to see it, that's the difference. And I think that's where people don't understand. Just because they can call their own website up doesn't mean other people can.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know if people understand that as much, because how are you going to find a website? Like, how do you find normal websites? What's the average person do, Faith?
They're going to Google it. They're going to go. They're going to look for child care center near me, daycare near me, infants near me, preschool near me. They're going to Google it, and how centers get to the top of that ranking and are the first couple to see. That's the behind the scenes secret sauce that most people don't know how to do.
Exactly. So, 80, 90% of people use Google, but some people use Bing or Yahoo or whatever other search method. But they're going to do a search, and that's how they're going to find your website. Very few people are going to type in abcpreschool.com to find your exact website. You've got to go search with the middle of all the competitors out there who probably know more than you do about a website, or they have a developer done it, who has done it. So that's where we have to be careful. Like I said, anybody can put it up, and you can go visit your own little website and see how dazzling it is, and probably put a lot of bells and whistles in it. But the only thing that matters at the end of the day is, can other parents find it? And Google is very tricky with their algorithm, and so are the other search providers. Obviously, they're going to be looking for certain things on the website and certain things that are in it for them to give you higher ranking. And the higher your ranking means that there's less websites for people to have to go through to find yours. Your goal is obviously to be on the front page. And it's like being on the front page of a newspaper, or you could be on the back page of a newspaper, or you could be tiny little print in the middle. You're in it, meaning that if you do your own website, it's like being on page 18 in tiny little print. because not as many people get a chance to see you, or you can have a professional do your website and put certain things in there we should call SEO or search engine optimization and sneak in little hidden things that we know the algorithm in that gets you on the front page or the back page. Back page is pretty important too, but it's somewhere where it's seen. Do you think that's a much better strategy than being on page 18, Faith?
Oh yeah, nobody wants to be on page 18. Nobody reads page 18. Nobody reads page 2. And it's not even about what anybody can put together a website and the colors will be beautiful and the pictures and they can say all kinds of wonderful things about their program. And if someone finds it, the website may be sufficient to get them to want to kind of go through their funnel. But it's not even just what you see in print or see in the pictures on the website that alter the Google algorithm. It's all of the behind the scenes stuff too. Am I right?
Absolutely. That's where it comes in with SEO. It's the what they call backlinks. It's the how many different references do you have to the search term that they're looking for? They could be searching for daycare near me. Well, how many times do you have the word daycare in there? You don't have the word daycare in your website. They're not bringing you up on daycare near me. So you have to think strategically when it comes to putting your website together and not just have something dazzling that looks pretty for you. You have to look pretty for the Google algorithm for it to find you. And blogging, updating a website regularly, there's like 18 different tricks that you can do. And if you don't know what these tricks are, you're going to be ranking near the bottom. And you could say, well, I come up fairly good on my website. The best way to know how you're coming up is to do an incognito search in your market. Go in your market, open an incognito window. What is an incognito window? It's a window where your IP address is masked to Google. It means nobody knows where you're coming in from. You could be coming in from, another country. You could be coming in down the street. Google doesn't know where you are. So that'll give you the most accurate record to see. If you search childcare near me and you put in an incognito, or better yet, don't do that. Better yet, do childcare, Fresno, California, wherever you're located. See what comes up. That's your accurate ranking where you're going to be with a generic parent. So that's your biggest determining to find out how you're ranking on SEO. If you're in a really small market with 2 or 3 childcare centers and you're ranking in the top 2 or 3, probably really doesn't matter. A little cheap website you throw together probably is just fine. But if there's more than 20 childcare centers in your market and there's a lot of people and you have a lot of competition out there, you need to put a good website together. One thing people ask me is, why are websites so expensive? There is a lot of behind the scenes work involved with coding that you need to put that in there. And a lot of people don't realize as well is the average website will it's the best return on investment in a childcare center that you could potentially spend money on, period. To me, there's no better return on investment. It's better than a CRM system. It's better than any advertising you could do because it'll make you over $1 million. There's not one website out there that done properly that won't return to the average childcare center a 7-figure return over the course of its existence. I've had the same website for 8 or 10 years, Faith. How long's your website been? Several years, right? You had one, right?
Yeah, we've had ours for about 5 years since our last big update. Because it's not even about, like, in addition to all of the things you've already talked about, there is also a science behind how to funnel prospective families through your website and what you want them to see in what order in order to get them to take the call to action that you're looking for. So there's even a science behind that.
Yeah, psychology, because you're gonna know how people think, right? How they find data. I mean, nobody ever goes through a search and they only go find the person on page 7.
Right.
They're looking on page 1. It's like there's psychology behind that because people like quick, simple, right? And they want a website that makes sense logically, that's not too confusing, that's quick. The younger generation, which are the parents today, are like videos and they're like shorts and things under a minute. So you have to cater to that audience. And things that were on my 10-year-old website that were put on 10 years ago aren't relevant today. So you have to fresh it every 5 years, 3 to 5 years. But the good thing is the major expense that you do with a website, it's a one-time major expense that maybe have to update it every couple of years. But that big expense will come back to you multiple times. To me, it's that one. It's like I said, the best investment out there. Us at Childcare Genius Marketing, we do websites. We have an expert team that does it. Faith is actually the person that you would talk to first at our company should you want to get a website. So, Faith, if anybody's out there interested, so you know what, I've got a website, but I don't, I'm not full with enrollment. So if I'm not full with enrollment, I must not be seen. So if your enrollment's weak, your website's at least 2 or 3 years old, and you have openings in your school, you're not full, how would they find you? How would they get a call with you, Faith?
Yeah, so if you go to childcaregenius.com and click on the marketing tab on the top, on the banner, there's going to be an Inquire Now button. And if you click on that, you can book a call on my schedule and we can go over the options, talk about, where their current website is, what updates they may need to happen, and how we can better help them.
Awesome. Don't charge for this call, no obligation.
Nope.
We'd be happy to sit down and talk to you and find out what works good for you. We're not going to sell you anything that you don't need. We're 100% firm on that. If we can't help you, we'll gladly tell you we can't help you. And some people, they're out there that just a little cheap website doing that done their own is fine in the right market. We'll be happy to tell you that too. So we look forward to hearing from you. That's it for today's edition of the Childcare Genius podcast. Thank you so much, Faith, for joining me. We hope you really consider getting a new website. Like I said, if you're not full of enrollment and it's been a few years, your website, hasn't been updated, and you really need a new kind of a website makeover, need a new one, get on Faith's calendar and get on there. And we'll be back next week. Faith and I are going to actually be back next week for another episode. We're going to talk next week about Google advertising and why you want to manipulate Google's algorithm on the advertising side so you could be seen as much so they could find your website. There's a way to pay to get to the top. So you could do that as well. So we're going to talk about that next week. So we'll see you next week for another edition of the Childcare Genius podcast. Have a good day.
Thank you for listening to the Childcare Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.